All right, this is section 3-8, using formulas. First example we have is example 1. This is on page 162. It says, what is the rate in miles per hour of a dolphin that travels 120 miles in 4 hours? And you can see there where they use the formula D equals RT. So I have that written here. D stands for distance, R stands for rate or speed, which is written at the bottom, and T stands for time. And so this is a formula that works. You multiply the speed times the amount of time, and it equals how far you went, the distance. And so that's what we're going to plug in. The first thing they give you is they ask for the rate in miles per hour. So that means I don't know R. And the next thing it tells us, I'll just drop the equal sign down, it tells us the distance is 120 miles, and it tells me the time is 4 hours. So I've plugged everything into the equation, and then all I do to solve this is, well, get R by itself. So the opposite of timesing by 4 is dividing by 4. 120 divided by 4 is 30. And on this side, the R or the 4's cancel out, so it just leaves R. And it wants the answer in miles per hour. So we end up with 30 miles per hour. You can check it if you throw it back in there. 30 times 4 is 120. Example 2 on the next page is talking about perimeter. And in part A, it says find the perimeter of the rectangle. And there's the rectangle, 5 inches by 11 inches. And what I want you to just realize here is perimeter is adding up all the sides. So that would be like starting right here in this corner and saying 5 plus 11 plus 5 plus 11. That would be, well, 11 plus 5 is 16, and then 16 times 2, 32. If you added those numbers together, you should get 32 inches. That is the perimeter. But what they're wanting you to do in this particular example or this section is use the formulas. So we're going to use this formula, P equals 2 times L plus W. L is 5, W is 11, or vice versa. You could have 11 plus 5 there. And it's multiplying by 2, and we're solving for P. So P stays P. We won't change P. But then as we start to solve it, we get 16 here, because we got to do parentheses first. And last step, 2 times 16, 32 inches ends up being the perimeter. That's a pretty easy question. Again, if you add 11 plus 5 plus 11 plus 5, you end up with 32 inches. So keep that in mind. Part B here on example 2, it says the perimeter of a rectangle is 28 meters. Its width is 8 meters. Find the length. So we're going to use the formula for perimeter. Again, there is some shortcuts that we can do to solve for this. But again, we're using the formula because that's the title of this section. And I'm using a different formula for perimeter. It's the same as the last one, but what on the last one we just distributed the 2. We got 2L plus 2W. And so we're going to plug in everything we know. We know the perimeter is 28 equals 2 times the length I don't know, plus 2 times the width, and it told us the width is 8. So all we're going to do, we're going to solve this backwards. We're going to try to get L by itself. And first thing we're going to do is take 2 times 8 to get 16. You know, anything like that you can see where you can just put them together, that's a good chance to do it. Writing down everything else. Now, this is a part where we can label V's and C's if we get confused. This C needs to move over here. Draw your line also if that helps. And to get that C over there, we subtract 16. So these 16s are gone. 2L equals 12. And then as your last step, 2 times L, to get rid of the 2, we divide by 2. So 12 divided by 2 equals 6, and then it equals L. I'm running out of room there. But 6 equals L, so that means 6 meters would be the length. Example 3 on page 164. There's part A and B. A says find the area of a rectangle with length 15 meters and width 7 meters. We know this formula, A equals LW. And since we're looking for the area, they have given us the length and width, 7 times 15 or 15 times 7. And if we're not sure what that is, it's a good chance to just go ahead and write it over here, try to figure that out. 7 times 15 ends up being 105. And since we're talking about area, the units are squared. So we end up with meters squared, 105. There you go. That's the area. And part B on example 3 says the area of a rectangle is 45 square feet. Its length is 9. Find the width. So that means I'm looking for W. It tells me the length is 9, and it already told us the area was 45. Now, you should be able to figure that out in your head, without writing the formula down. I don't want you to think that I'm just making you do something silly that doesn't have a purpose. The purpose is we use the formula, we plug in what we know. Even if we know how to do it with the shortcut, that's great. Do it with the shortcut, but also show it on your paper how you're using the formula. And how do we get W by itself? Well, it's multiplying by 9, so we should divide by 9. And W drops down. 45 divided by 9 is 5. Equal sign drops down. And since this was square feet for the area, the width is 5 feet. And that is all. That is the end of section 3-8 and the chapter. Best of luck, guys.